There are some who only like to receive benefits privately. They dislike having any witnesses in confidence. Such men, we may believe, have no good intentions, as the giver is justified in dwelling upon those qualities of his gift which will please the receiver. So a man, when he receives, should do so publicly. You should not take from a man what you are ashamed to owe him. Some return thanks to one stealthily, in a corner, in a whisper. This is not modesty, but a kind of denying of the dead. It is the part of an ungrateful man not to express his gratitude before witnesses. Some object to any accounts being kept between them and their benefactors, and wish no brokers to be employed or witnesses to be called, but merely to give their own signature to receipt. Those men do the like, who take care to let as few persons as possible know of the benefits which they have received. They fear to receive them in public, in order that their success may be attributed rather to their own talents than to the help of others. They are very seldom to be found in attendance upon those to whom they owe their lives and their fortunes, and thus, while avoiding the imputation of servility, they incur that of ingratitude. Some men speak in the most offensive terms to those to whom they owe most. There are men whom it is safer to affront than to serve, for their dislike leads them to assume the airs of persons who are not indebted to us, although nothing more is expected of them than that they should remember what they owe us, refreshing their memory from time to time, because no one could be grateful who forgets a kindness, and he who remembers it by so doing proves his gratitude. We ought neither to receive benefits with a fastidious air, nor yet with a slavish humility. For if a man does not care for a benefit when it is freshly bestowed, a time at which all presents please us most, what will he do when his first charms have gone off? Others receive with an air of disdain, as much as to say, I do not want it, but as you wish it so very much, I will allow you to give it to me. Others take benefits languidly, and leave the giver in doubt as to whether they know that they have received them. Others barely open their lips in thanks, and would be less offensive if they said nothing. One ought to proportion one's thanks to the importance of the benefit received, and to use the phrases, you have laid more of us than you think under an obligation, for everyone likes to find his good actions extend further than he expected. You do not know what it is that you have done for me, but you ought to know how much more important it is than you imagine. It is in itself an expression of gratitude to speak of oneself as overwhelmed by kindness, or I shall never be able to thank you sufficiently, but at any rate, I will never cease to express everywhere my inability to thank you. By nothing did Furnius gain greater credit with Augustus, and make it easy for him to obtain anything else for which he might ask, than by merely saying, when at his request, Augustus pardoned his father for having taken Antonius' side. One wrong alone I have received at your hands, Caesar. You have forced me to live and to die, owing you a greater debt of gratitude than I can ever repay. What can prove gratitude so well as that a man should never be satisfied, should never even entertain the hope of making an adequate return for what he has received? By these and similar expressions, we must try not to conceal our gratitude, but to display it as clearly as possible. No words need be used. If we only feel as we ought, our thankfulness will be shown in our countenances. He who intends to be grateful, let him think how he shall repay a kindness while he is receiving it. Chrysippus says that such a man must watch for his opportunity and spring forward whenever it offers, like one who has been entered for a race and who stands at the starting point, waiting for the barriers to be thrown open. And even then, he must use great exertions and great swiftness to catch the other who has the start of him. We must now consider what is the main cause of ingratitude. It is caused by excessive self-esteem, by that fault innate in all mortals of taking a partial view of ourselves and our own acts by greed or by jealousy. Let us begin with the first of these, Everyone is prejudiced in his own favor, from which it follows that he believes himself to have earned all that he receives, regards it as payment for his services, and does not think that he has been appraised at a valuation sufficiently near his own. He has given me this, says he, but how late? After how much toil? How much more might I have earned if I had attached myself to so and so, or to so and so? I did not expect this. I have been treated like one of the herd. Did he really think that I only deserved so little? Why, it would have been less insulting to have passed me over altogether. The augur, Seneca Lentulus, who, before his freedmen reduced him to poverty, was one of the richest of men, who saw himself in possession of a fortune of 400 millions, I say advisedly, saw, for he never did more than see it, was as barren and contemptible in intellect as he was in spirit, though very avaricious. Yet he was so poor a speaker that he found it easier to give men coins than words. This man, who owed all his prosperity to the late Emperor Augustus, to whom he had brought only poverty, encumbered with a noble name, when he had risen to be the chief man in Rome, both in wealth and influence, used sometimes to complain that Augustus had interrupted his legal studies, observing that he had not received anything like what he had lost by giving up the study of eloquence. Yet the truth was that Augustus, besides loading him with other gifts, had set him free from the necessity of making himself ridiculous by laboring at a profession in which he never could succeed. Greed does not permit anyone to be grateful, for what is given is never equal to its base desires, and the more we receive, the more we covet, for avarice is much more eager when it has to deal with great accumulations of wealth. Just as the power of a flame is enormously greater in proportion to the size of the conflagration from which it springs, ambition, in like manner, suffers no man to rest satisfied with that measure of public honors, to gain which was once the limit of his wildest hope. No one is thankful for becoming tribune, but grumbles at not being at once promoted to the post of praetor. Nor is he grateful for this if the consulship does not follow, and even this does not satisfy him if he be consul but once. His greed ever stretches itself out further, and he does not understand the greatness of his success because he always looks forward to the point at which he aims, and never back towards that from which he started. A more violent and distressing vice than any of these is jealousy, which disturbs us by suggesting comparisons. He gave me this, but he gave more to that man, and he gave it to him before me, after which he sympathizes with no one, but pushes his own claims to the prejudice of everyone else. How much more straightforward and modest is it to make the most out of what we have received, knowing that no man is valued so highly by anyone else as by his own self. I ought to have received more, but it was not easy for him to give more. He was obliged to distribute his liberality among many persons. This is only the beginning. Let me be contented, and by my gratitude encourage him to show me more favor. He has not done as much as he ought, but he will do so the more frequently. He certainly preferred that man to me, but he has preferred me before many others. That man is not my equal, either in virtue or in services, but he has some charm of his own. By complaining I shall not make myself deserve to receive more, but shall become unworthy of what I have received. More has been given to those most villainous men than has been given to me. Well, what is that to the purpose? How seldom does fortune show judgment in her choice? We complain every day of the success of bad men. Very often the hail passes over the estates of the greatest villains, and strikes down the crops of the best of men. Every man has to take his chance, in friendship as well as in everything else. There is no benefit so great that spitefulness can pick no holes in it, none so paltry that it cannot be made more of by friendly interpretation. We shall never want a subject for complaint if we look at benefits on the wrong side.